Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at the Skærbæk Fan Weekend in Denmark, and today I'm joined by Mark Erickson, who is the winner of our LEGO Reimagine contest, and together we'll be doing a tour of both of the convention halls here at Skærbæk. So Mark, if you want to give a quick introduction of yourself?
Sure, yeah, I'm Mark Erickson. I build a lot of castle stuff, definitely, and the only reason I'm here is because you guys were kind enough to have your contest, and I was lucky enough to win it, so that's why I'm here.
Well, it works out well for both of us then. So we're going to take everyone through the whole convention floor and show as much as possible. We always do our best to focus on as many builds as we can. So we'll start here with this great big spaceship, which actually I'm seeing the flyers here on the table, and it looks like it's on LEGO Ideas. So if this looks like something that you would want to own as a set, check it out on LEGO Ideas. It looks like you can probably search for it on there. So this is quite large. I personally find builds attractive when they're kind of built with like a stand like this and then hung down, especially spaceships like this. I think it's a really cool way to display it. I don't know, what's your thought on that, on kind of the stand to add something to a build?
Well, I think the presentation is awesome. If you can find a unique way of presenting your LEGO creation, in this case, it's just suspended, makes it really dramatic. It looks like it's flying through space, and there's a lot of great, huge, round shapes being built out of plates. So there's just a lot to take in, and it's very well done.
Very impressive. So then we move to a sort of city layout. We've got right out here, we're going to have a brief moment of silence. R.I.P. Toys R Us. We start off on a sad note right here. Ever since they closed down, you know, the Lego toy world has not been the same.
Yep, yeah, absolutely tragic. Just me and some other guys walked by, and we all just stopped, and we're like, you know, it makes you sad. Yeah.
Life used to be happy, but not now. But then moving on from there, we have a very enlarged modular fire station here. So it looks like it's probably like 3 wide or something almost there, just to make it a big firehouse. That serves like a large metropolitan area right there. And then next to that, I love this. It's like pirate-themed ship, which I think is really cool with the skull and crossbones and everything. It's not typical type of design you see on a ship, so I think it's a pretty neat design. Then you've got a Gundam that's sort of like half taken apart, I guess, there. And then we have a large, this is, I guess, what, elves-inspired layout?
Yeah, definitely looks like elves, and it looks like they also have I believe they're the goblins, the new figures from the last Elves series, or maybe it's the second, I'm not sure. I can't keep up.
One of them.
But
it's
yeah,
confusing.
So you have a whole goblin village and civilization, and the elves, they're all doing different things. It's very detailed, there's a lot of color in it, so it's really visually striking for sure.
And then after the elves layout, we've got a massive medieval castle layout. This one, I'm sure, is one, Mark, that caught your eye. Not only for the whole, you've got all the battle going out in the front there, and then you enter like the farm and the city, and then you get to the castle itself.
Yeah, I was studying this for quite a while. It was built by a very talented Polish builder, and he just spent a long time building on it. The castle was, apparently his ideas were have a room for everything that was necessary. So like a throne room, a dining hall, a storage area, a treasure room. So it's got a lot of detailed rooms and a lot of figures. And he's even hidden some things like Santa Claus and Batman. So it's really worth checking out for a long period of time.
My favorite, I think, is all of the beautifully tiled floors in his rooms here, which just adds so much detail to all of these rooms. And just almost every room has a different design to it, which I think is amazing. So definitely a great build here. So then we'll come back here and hit this back wall, make sure we don't miss these builds along here. So here's a bunch of collections of cars, and I don't know if these are particularly based on any real-life car. It looks like maybe some of them are more imaginative. I like the one with the golden treasure chests in the back there.
Yeah, there are some, looks like some fantasy, some based in real life. Some of those look like they would be a little too big and long for even the most dramatic 50s movie, so yeah.
There you go. And here we've got a nice, like the trolley scene, big house there. So I have no idea. You can look at this is apparently old days Copenhagen there. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name of that build. Then visitor counting map of northern Germany. So this is kind of a map of northern Germany there. You can like take a little stud and stick it on where you're from. This is a map of Italy, I believe. You look at it's a weird angle that you don't normally look at it from. So
Italy upside down. Yeah.
And then South Park characters, it's like a mosaic almost design plus the cube design in the front there. Brick heads. And then here, let's see, we've got a series of, you got like World War I style planes, more modern plane. I love this car here. That's just beautiful. Ooh, and the Walkman, super detailed Walkman there as well. So excellent, some real life creations here.
Yeah, great collection of builds. Lots of good chrome and metallic silver use as well. So yeah.
And then this looks like sort of a water park type of thing. There's a lot of, I like the orange brick separators. They're over the entrances. Get some brick heads, classic space going on here. Very recognizable. And then this big snake creature. I love that. It's like very flexible design. It's pretty amazing. And then a little Islander creation. It looks like there's the chicken and hot dog man running away from the Islanders. That's not going to end well. And then finally we have a build from Cornel here, a great Belgian builder. This is his Bastion project, and you can actually follow this online if you search the Bastion project. This is based on, I believe, the game Overwatch, and he's been working on this for a couple years, and I think will be for several years as he builds this massive build. So it's cool to see the progress there. And we've got Zelda Mosaic back here, also by Cornel. And then we'll move down this direction, starting with this fantastic Viking diorama.
Yeah, this one really caught my eye as well. The roof is very well done. It's using the Lego nets to get that unique flared and bulging shape that would normally be done with thatch or hay. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
And we'll see more examples of the Lego nets later in the tour. There's some other great builds as well that use that. I think it's caught on more over the years, and I've seen some great examples of that. So this looks like it's a very large collaborative by, I think, the Belgian group. So it's kind of a long city layout by a bunch of Belgian builders, and they've got all sorts of fun details in there, different rooms and everything. I like whatever's going on in here with the block tower. And then the rundown area. Here we get to some Blacktron. This is very large Blacktron layout.
Yeah, this is a good size layout, and also has like a monorail going through it, a big spaceship, and unfortunately a lot of the lights are turned off right now, but usually it's all blinking and flashing, and it's pretty fascinating. There's also a lot of cool Easter eggs. You see different figures thrown in from various themes. It's pretty neat.
And as you stand here, there's lots to unpack with the different levels of kind of landing pads and everything, the big spaceship, kind of the housing areas and stuff. So there's a lot of depth to this build that makes it really great. And then I think we've got a large kind of concert happening here. And it looks like you can maybe even see if we can hit the button and what happens. Oh, you hold it down and the drummer spins. Then you got lights, possibly, if these work. There we go. There's some lights. Good stuff. So yeah, some interactive stuff there in the concert area. And then a massive roller coaster. This is built by the same builder. If you remember our coverage of this show last year, we featured that massive, the massive Ferris wheel. That's what I was trying to think of. And the builder returned with a giant roller coaster this year, and actually also a smaller Ferris wheel as well. So, you know, why not go two awesome builds this year?
Yeah, go big or go home, literally. Yeah, this one's pretty awesome. It's very cool to see the little car roll around the track. It's fully functional. It looks awesome. It makes the set feel kind of small, which is kind of hard to say because the new set is just so big and massive, and this is just like insane. So.
Yeah. And then this would be sort of, I guess, like a Friends town layout, basically, with lots and lots of different areas. You've got like horse area there, the barns. You got this cave, the bear coming out. I'm sure since it's Friends, it's a very friendly bear. You don't have to worry. And then over here, you get to the beach scene. Really fantastic creations. And there's actually a whole nother thing in the back there that might be a little difficult to show. It's also all Friends theme. This is like the Friends party mansion, I think.
Yep, it's a whole Friends universe over here. You got some great roofing and building techniques. It's really well done, which is surprising. And then Friends is usually like the houses are small and a little bit, less detailed. So this is just like the ultimate Friends collaboration for sure.
You've got a crazy party going on when you got a hot air balloon attached to the roof there.
Yep, and water slides and everything else, yeah.
And then here's the Terminator T800 right here. Awesome build. The arms and legs move. There's lights in the eyes and everything. So it's really cool to just see this, look across the room and see the whole Terminator standing here built out of Lego. Over here, I think we have some characters. Are these based on anything? But these look like characters from the Cars movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this definitely looks like Terminator and the fire truck, and very well done. The eyes are very expressive, so it's pretty cool. And at this scale, it's huge, and you can get a lot of detail in. Yeah,
it really is such a massive scale for a build like this. You just don't see that very often. And then the rest of these, I'm not sure what those are based on, but they appear to be some characters as well there. Then here we have a giant Mark Twain paddle steamer. So this build is so cool. I love this. Very, kind of Americana piece right here. It's just classic from the 19th century.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I actually like the stacks of wood on the lower deck. You can see where they would be using firewood or logging. So it's pretty neat. There's lots of great details in there.
And the lettering, brick built lettering, it's like St. Petersburg up there, and then the Mark Twain here on the side. And just such a huge build. We get some more characters, little trucks and things. And then over here, I think, is this minifigure stand. So maybe, is it just minifig collections? Maybe some custom minifigs as well, sprinkled throughout here. Like a whole diorama with a bunch of Harry Potter. There's kind of cool presentations of different themed minifigs. Here we have friends, elves get together. With lots of, I love how they did the base there with the flowers kind of around the base, so it makes much more of like a whole scene and doesn't feel so cut off.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but I think it's really well presented for what it is. It's a great little friends figure party for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then this build down here, I'm not even sure what all is going on here. So you've got cannons on the top, you've got some like brick heads in prison, you've got some Pirates of the Caribbean brickheads that appear to be firing the cannons. You got these guys down here. So there's a lot. I'm not I'm not sure exactly what this is supposed to depict.
Yeah, it's very modern art. It's like you're not sure what they're trying to say with this piece, but it's very interesting and it's pretty good size, so it's pretty fascinating.
It's making some kind of statement.
Yeah.
And then we'll transition out around here and start showing the stuff in the middle. So we start with a bunch of big Technic vehicles.
They were driving those around earlier today.
Really?
So yeah, that big green and orange one definitely moves around, and the blades spin at the front. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then that kind of green camper thing or trailer in the back there is really great as well. All the brick built table and everything. And then some more vehicles along here. I love the coloring on that one. And next to that, we've got this excellent kind of Pirates Imperial fort here, which as a fan of the Pirates Imperial theme, some of my favorites. I think this is just amazing. This great diorama here with the big tower. It almost looks like it could be a Lego set that was kind of blown up, like you did with your castle, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. It has a great feel. It ties into the sets, but then again, it's much bigger and much nicer, so it's pretty cool.
Next to that, we have some builds by Jonas, a builder we featured several times on the channel over the years. Really talented German builder. He has a bunch of small, kind of micro builds here. So that build John's showing right now is from Harry Potter. And you've got some space builds, Mario and Luigi and everything. And as you might have noticed, he is on Instagram, in case you've missed the signage there. So you should check him out on Instagram because that's where he posts his builds. And it's some really great stuff over there. Then we've got a nice kind of train yard. You got the coal cars there.
Yeah, it's a very nice train yard. My favorite part of this build was actually the arches over the window and the big brick train station. I thought that was really well achieved. I haven't seen that very often.
Mm-hmm. And next to that, this looks like the name of this is Summer Week Building in Wood. So it's kind of like it almost looks like they have pallets and they're creating little forts and playground areas and everything there in the play area.
Yeah, I remember doing this some as a child as well. It's a lot of fun. So this must be some kind of event that they are familiar with where they're from. So yeah, but looks like a blast. I want to take part.
Yeah. Go out and build your pallet fort. And speaking of forts, here's a massive fort that is actually, I believe, based on a real one that was on an island in the Caribbean that Denmark used to own before they sold it to the United States. So this has the whole big yellow fort here and all the little cannons and stuff. Once again, some great Imperial soldiers. The brick-built ship here. And then finally kind of the island big mansion out here. So that's one great layout. Really catches your eye as you walk around. Rounding the corner here, this is a really great build. We were talking to the builders earlier about this. It's most impressive when the lights are off and then they turn the lights on inside. But an interesting fact here, they actually have 3 different backgrounds within this diorama, and all those backgrounds were created by a street artist that they just found doing some art one day in Hamburg, where they're from, and commissioned him to make these backgrounds for their Lego builds. So it's this great combination of art and Lego there to create those dioramas.
Yeah, it's a very unique presentation style as well. Very different from what you see in most conventions. Being in a box, you'd think it would constrain it, but it actually highlights a lot of the detail. Yeah,
right, exactly. And stuff like that, we go to these shows so often that I love when unique things like that stick out, because it's really neat. Here, I think, is this all part of the same layout? It looks like we've got kind of a space battle going on.
StarCraft 2. Yes,
Oh,
it's an
okay,
RTS game. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, if I played StarCraft, I would have recognized this, but apparently not. So any StarCraft fans will recognize those builds.
Yep. According to the description, as long as you recognize it's not Star Wars, they're happy. So yeah.
It's clearly not Star Wars. That's the only important thing.
Speaking of Star Wars.
That's true.
Right beyond here.
We will transition then to some other massive Star Wars builds. So we've got Sebulba's Pod Racer, and then the TIE Silencer, and then the U-Wing in the back there. So some very impressive Star Wars ships there. And Belgian builder who built, I believe, his own house. So it's got all the rooms and everything. That's always neat. Here's a world of colors. Definitely taking a more artistic approach to the Lego build, and just kind of a lot of plant-based, some buildings, and even like a mech type thing over there.
Yeah, this a lot of builds you see at this convention are more deeply artistic in style, so they're not immediately apparent what's going on, but you get to think about it and ponder about it, which is really neat. So this is very well in that theme. So, yeah.
Gives you something to chew on a little bit there.
Exactly.
And then we have the giant Big Ben and Westminster Palace here. So this is amazing. I love the use of the BR Toy Company minifigs there as the the soldiers coming in. And obviously Lego has their own set of this, but this is just several times larger and so much more impressive. You'll notice this is the first of several very, very large buildings here at Skærbæk. I think people decided to build big this year. And then over here, layout with some excellent lighting. It's hard to see right now, but when the lights were lower, lots of great lights there with all the kind of stained glass effect in the front of those buildings. And then trains running through, the nice smooth roads. So just a nice contained big kind of city layout.
Yeah, the European architecture is just really nice in the buildings. All the tan accents and the bay windows, really well done. Just excellent modular style buildings. So yeah.
We have some more trucks here. I love when they put kind of the photo that was the inspiration for it, because you can see how accurate the builder is then with what they built. So I'm assuming this appears to have a lot of moving parts in it as well. It's probably even more impressive when they actually have all the functions running.
Yeah, I definitely see some switches on the side where you could turn it on and move it around.
Then you got a caterpillar next to that. And what I'm assuming is a logging truck, by the fact that there appear to be like little real logs on there.
Yep, they actually got some timber and placed it in there. It's very functional.
And a big train yard. So bunch of trains, and then all the cargo sort of being loaded and unloaded.
Yeah, excellent foliage as well. The trees are really well done, and the train engines themselves are really detailed. So it's just a really overall excellently done piece. So.
And then here, instead of the big gray triangle that you're used to a Star Wars ship, this builder took a different approach and went for the Rainbow Warrior approach to make Star Wars a little more fun.
Yep, absolutely. This one definitely stands out among the Imperial fleet, and it has its own custom mock card as well describing the situation. So yeah.
I consider this like Cloud Cuckoo Land meets Star Wars.
Exactly. This is the special division of the Imperial fleet. Yeah.
The special division. And then Sentry Tank TIE Crawler. So I like that there with the big tank treads on it. Very different type of Star Wars build. And moving down, you get some. This is like a big, I guess, Cloud Cuckoo Land sort of thing up there. And then down under, you've got a whole holiday layout. So there's lots going on.
Yeah, it looks like from the pictures it was part of a larger display that they kept part of the the best parts of to save for later for here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And then this end section right here is all builds by Canadian builder Deborah Higdon, who's just really talented builder, has a couple of great chess sets. So you see the holiday one. Then you've got France versus the Netherlands here at chess. So some of the iconic buildings. And then here's another example of that net technique I mentioned earlier. It's not running right now, but when this is running, all the water part of this build in front of the buildings is that net technique, and so there's little paddles underneath there that make the nets move and look like moving water. She even added sound effects this year to make it even better.
Yep. Apparently this is a few years old, but it's the first time I've ever seen it, so I was highly impressed. And there's also music and lights as well. Unfortunately, a lot of it's off because everyone's out. So.
It's wonderful. I think this build first unveiled actually at BrickFest in like 2014, which is the only year I've been to BrickFest, so I did see it that the first time, but it's still very neat. Here's a giant layout on this side, which is kind of an Islander Aztec mashup. So you've got a violent scene happening out here with, I think, several people ending up being fried.
Yeah, it was a confusing scene for sure, but that's often how war ends up, is very confused and discombobulated for sure. But yeah, it's definitely a huge Mesoamerican layout. Lots of things going on, lots of Easter eggs. This build is actually packed with humorous details that, if you look closely, it's it made me and my friends laugh many times. So.
Mm-hmm. And then you keep moving down here. You got some great trees. You've got the Minecraft guys inside the cave there. So a Minecraft reference, you always got to have that.
Exactly. Minecraft is everywhere, under the ground, everywhere. It's always around, present.
And then kind of straw huts there as well. Looks like they just packed the brown flex tubes together. That's crazy. I don't even know how many of those are in there.
Hundreds, maybe even thousands, but yeah, they're also hard to find and not cheap. So they have gone to great lengths to make it look in that particular style. I think it looks great. So yeah.
And then here we reach the big temple. You've got the guys bowing at the bottom, kind of your priest type people at the top there. And I love the kind of indentations and decorations on all the edges of the temple as you move up there. So very long diorama with tons of detail. Even more here as we continue on. You kind of reach the edge of their known world, and you get out into the swamp here where it appears some dark creatures lie, like whatever is happening to this man here. That doesn't look fun.
Yep, there are plenty of skeletons dotting the map in this layout, and it's very clear that several minifigures have not made it from their excursions.
And then we'll keep moving down and show a few more builds on this side that we were not able to hit from the other side. The Waffle Hut here, I think, is amazing. So it's like a winter scene. I think that's very neat. And I think this is actually from the TV series Fargo. I thought that looked somewhat familiar. That would explain all the snow, and also how they kind of combine the green and white leaves there for the snow-capped tree.
Yeah, the snow effects on the ground are excellent. You can see the tire tracks in the indentations, and then the snowy trees are great because at the bottom you see a little bit of green and a little bit of brown, like where the branches are dying. So it's really just well done for sure.
That level of detail really separates, I think, amazing builders from just your average builder. When you put that much thought into it and how would this actually look if there was real snow falling, I think that's really neat.
For sure.
And then I love this here. It's like a modeling kit, but out of Lego. So it's kind of combining the two different types of model making into one there.
Yeah, definitely. And then right next to it, I think you have like a slot car piece of track and car and controller. So that kind of reminds me of my childhood. I had some of those racing around. They always fell off, but they were fun.
You never actually won, but it was fun in the end.
Exactly. They just slid right off, but yeah.
We've got a tipped over coal car, so somebody's having a bad day there. You're going to have to shovel all that back in. That's not going to be fun. And then the back of that city we saw earlier, here you can kind of see all the wires and everything it takes to run the lights. And as we turn around, we are greeted by this incredible Star Wars build, which actually the builder has been working on this for 13 years, which is just crazy. So he's put a ton of time and effort into this. The shuttle there moves up and down as landing gear and everything that moves. So massive landing pad and everything. It's just amazing.
Yeah, the trees are what first caught my eye. It's like trees are the most notoriously difficult thing to move to a convention. So these ones are some of the biggest and most detailed I've seen. So it's just everywhere you look, it's just awesome detail, attention to every aspect and figures and posing. And yeah, so it's just loaded. I can see why it took him so long to make it.
And then we have another technique that I always think is a really cool idea is the mirror under a ship like this. Usually it's some kind of spaceship or something along those lines. So then you can appreciate the underbelly of it, which is always impressive and done really well, which normally you can't see. So this is an airship aircraft carrier. So you can see kind of the planes on top and then some of the defensive guns and everything on the side there. And then that great black and red checkered pattern, keeping everything looking nice and smooth. And then we have a space tank next to that. So classic space has gotten a little violent. They needed to bring out the big hardware. This is what they turned to. And then a nice haunted house layout, haunted mansion. Good fall leaves and everything there. Cart full of skeletons. Got iconic Star Wars scene next to that with the Millennium Falcon. Once again, some nice tiling there. I always like it when the builds are nice and smooth, not too many studs. And then a medieval village here. So great combination of the gray and kind of dark tan look there for the facade of the walls.
Yeah, there's also some good roofing in there as well. And some nice figure placement, some troops. Yeah, it's a great it's not a large medieval scene, but it's a nice, very detailed one.
Mm-hmm. And then we go way up to the sky here. You have to crane your neck for this one, for those of you watching at home. This is Giotto's bell tower from the Florence Duomo. So this is amazing. I actually was just in Italy a few days before coming to the show here in Skærbæk, and we visited this. It was very neat to see in person, and this Lego model is incredibly accurate as well. So just a massive, I think it's something like 10 feet tall. So it's a giant model here. And then keep moving down here. We've got a few more trucks and everything. Look like they have some functions there. And then Gingerbread Books. So this is kind of like a pop-up book made out of Lego. I always love these scenes that are kind of built into the books. And obviously we'll have the Lego idea set coming out sometime in the near future with the book design as well. So that should be neat. And then I'm not sure what is happening here, but that's a very nicely decorated, fun playhouse. It looks like there's a description. They printed the description over there, but it's fun to look at. Star Wimbledon here. You've got Yoda versus Darth Vader. How old is Yoda? I feel like he might struggle in this sport.
Yeah, it depends on how quickly he can move. In the earlier prequel movies, he was pretty fast, so you never know. But I see that the Emperor is watching from the stands, as is most of the Star Wars cast. So it looks like a good game is shaping up here.
And then there's this dude right here who just realized that he's sitting in the wrong cheering section. And coming around to the other side, this is Adventure in the Caribbean. One of my favorite builds here at the show. These beautifully built ships, especially this one in the back here. Absolutely massive with all the action going on. You've got the big Imperial ship there fighting the pirates. Just incredible. The amount of bricks in that ship alone.
Yeah, that is a really big pirate ship. One of the bigger I've ever seen. It's just so many decks, so many cannons, a lot of troops on board. Yeah, that one looks like the pirate ships should be fleeing for their lives here. So.
And then in addition to that, there's also the Great Island there as well. So the pirates are kind of defending their island here where they're hiding out with all of their bananas, it would appear. Bananas appear to be their main catch there on the island. Then we've got a nice round tower here using that great technique with the round 1x1 pieces and then the 1x2 bricks to get that nice rounded effect. So always a solid option looking to do something with a round shape.
Yeah, it also looks like it's comprised mostly of light gray, which is a lot harder to find nowadays than the light bluish gray. So interesting color choice. I think it looks really good.
got this is actually by Marcus Rolbuehler, Lego designer here in Denmark. He calls this a Lego designer collab. So I think this was made by a number of different Lego employees here in Denmark. And they kind of collabed on this great scene. That's a large, like, blue and black shark.
Yeah, it's actually kind of based on the earlier AquaZone theme of Aqua Sharks.
Okay.
So yeah, they have some smaller ones using the original Aqua Sharks canopy for the cockpit and original Aqua Sharks weapons and figures. So it's pretty accurate and pretty cool.
That makes sense now when you mention those canopies. I recognize those, yeah. And then this is, I believe, from the movie Avatar, if I'm not mistaken. So on the Pandora Planet, you've got kind of the massive, I don't know, like dropship type of thing here. Yeah, with its big fans, and then the big command HQ over there with all the guys looking out the windows. So this is very nicely well done. Then the whole base is kind of studs not on top work, so it's all just laid flat, nice and smooth.
Yeah, that is the biggest drop/hover ship I have ever seen. It was pretty cool. I haven't seen the movie Avatar, so I should catch up on that to see where all these awesome vehicles came from. So yeah.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is next. So this was actually a collab. The builder of the Florence Tower also helped with this, and the lights that run on this kind of alternate between different, like, Italian themed and Danish themed and stuff. So it's neat to watch the lights on this. And they got the leaning exactly right. They said they used an iPhone to make sure that the degree of lean was the exact same amount as the real tower. So it's neat to see that. And then over here, we've got Edie Pearson, his Lug Life game, which he's showing off here. One of the characters there you might recognize. It's my favorite. I don't think I'm biased at all. John can make sure to zoom in on that. We'll just hold that shot for a while right here while we make sure you get a good look at that. But the Lug Life game does look pretty cool, so Ed's been working on that for a while, so we'll see where that goes. Definitely check that out online if you want a cool Lego-related card game. And then the Lego House zones next to that. So these are depictions of a couple of the zones from the Lego House. If you've been there, seen some of the countless photos that every Lego fan posts when they go there, then you might recognize some of those. And then some Star Wars stuff next to that. What do we have here? The ARC 170 Starfighter, and then you've got an Interceptor over there, and a Venator class Star Destroyer. So this show, just like all of the American shows as well, Star Wars is quite popular here too. Yep. And then we'll turn around here and check out this layout. So this is the back. We'll see the front in a minute when we come around to the other side. But you can see some great builds here. This is done by Soren, a local Danish builder who lives in Copenhagen. And his buildings here are just amazing. One thing I think is great is that all of the roofs have a different design.
Oh yeah, the techniques used in the roofs are just excellent. Me and several other experienced castle builders were remarking on how well he had done on the roofs in particular, but all the details on the houses, the woodwork, the gold trim, everything is just outstanding.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got some classic cars down here. And I love this scene here with kind of the cloud backdrop and the Cuba frame. So it's almost like a postcard scene there, and the Cuba stamp on it. And that uses, is that like Scala doll?
I believe that's the right, yeah, Scala or Scala. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but yeah.
So you see those pop up in builds occasionally. Maybe they'll make a comeback like Galador seems to be doing someday.
Yep, those old Lego themes sure are very popular these days, but I think it's fascinating and very neat, so yeah.
Also with Galador, a little disturbing, but you know, you try to avoid some of that. But then you've got another nice big cloud backdrop. So this appears to be a large, I'm not sure, appears to be a number of different builders who worked on it here. And they've got all of that nice architecture there. And then the angled parking spots, which you don't see with Lego real often.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice architecture going on, and nice street, nice cars. It seems like a very fun collab. I love those kind of Mediterranean tropical colors for architecture. It's very refreshing. Your
pinks and your yellow and green and everything. Here is a layout. This was done, talking to the builders earlier, I believe it was 22 different builders in Italy worked on this. These are 3 peaks from the mountains in northern Italy that they depicted here. And this is just a massive, massive build for a very large mountain. So it's rare to see something this big depicting just one large mountain like this. And the scale they're able to do it in is really incredible. So talking to them was really amazing. We'll definitely have a more in-depth video on that. And then we have sort of a carnival and a bunch of fun rides, theme park. There you go. What catches your eye here, Mark?
Well, there's a prominently placed McDonald's store with Mickey and Minnie on top. I thought that was pretty unique. You know, not everyone would think of building a McDonald's, but I thought they did a good job. It's kind of a neat inclusion for sure. Then you got bumper cars and all sorts of stuff here. Yeah.
They made sure to include the American Embassy, as I like to call it, whenever we're outside the country there. Making sure that we export only the best to the rest of the world. And we'll come down here real quick. It looks like I want to show the front of Soren's build real quick before we move on here. You can see a little bit of angle, the back of the mountains here. These mountains are very popular with the mountain climbers, so you can see some of them on the top of the peaks as well. Yes, you have backdrops here, so the black curtains as well. Then here's the front of Soren's build. So yeah, once again, just amazing when you look at it from this angle and you kind of get the whole village layout and then all the different details on his buildings. Really incredible.
Yeah, I was talking to Soren earlier, and he is best known for his classic space build. So it's very interesting to hear he had suddenly switched over the castle and then suddenly done such an excellent job. So it's very impressive and actually pretty inspiring for someone who sticks in one theme a lot. So
yeah, we interviewed him. We have a video on the channel from last year with his very large classic space layout. So it's nice to see him transitioning themes and going into new areas. And then here we've got sort of a big Dutch windmill, but also really neat. It's under here you've got all of the fish and things under the sea on a track sort of, so it's running through there. And then is this some Modulix right here possibly?
Looks like those colors seem to definitely remind me of Modulix. I believe that's a Modulix scene here amongst all the Lego, so yeah.
And then we got a nice castle layout, once again, nice round tower. I love the trebuchet and kind of the wooden wall out there. Has sort of a rundown look to it. I like that. And then this is an altarpiece built out of Lego. Sorry for the abrupt ending on the tour video. Unfortunately, the convention hall closed and we weren't able to finish up when it reopened. But the good news is we'll have individual videos on a whole bunch of the builds here at the Skærbæk Fan Weekend. So definitely keep an eye out for those as well, because we'll be featuring a bunch of the cool creations in their own videos. But I hope you enjoyed the look we were able to give you at a decent portion of the Skærbæk Fan Weekend show here. Thanks for watching.